About a year ago, there was a news article published about how the Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, was considering printing a $1 trillion coin made of platinum in order to help pay off the U.S. debt. Every time the debt ceiling comes up, which is coming up here in a few days again, they're going to debate this and whether or not they decide to raise it, which they probably will because they're just addicted to spending. Our Congress is addicted to spending money that they don't have. They do not understand how to budget things. If you don't have money for something, then you can't spend money on that something. And you can't just invent it, or you can, but you're going to pay for that later. You will pay for that. You will pay. We're paying for it now. It's called inflation. But they floated this idea of printing a $1 trillion coin that would be made of platinum, and they could use that to put away to pay off the debt. They would basically just, see, an ounce of platinum is not worth $1 trillion. It's only worth like, I don't know, $2,000 or something, in the market, because platinum is used for industrialized purposes of manufacturing, things like that. So, but a $1 trillion platinum coin is just fiat. It's not worth that. And if you're going to try to make it worth that, you're going to lose confidence, world confidence in your currency. It's already happening. China and other countries are already dumping U.S. treasuries, and all of those dollars are coming back home. They're being repatriated, and there's no way we're getting out of this inflation bubble. Absolutely no way. Here's the article that came out. Posted over at thenewrepublic.com. It says, mint the $1 trillion platinum coin, Dark Brandon. It says the debt ceiling is a legendarily ridiculous problem. Fortunately, there is a ridiculously legendary solution. And I'm not going to read the article because it's got some pretty salty language in it over at The New Republic. And so it's not very family friendly. However, it basically says, hey, listen, Joe Biden can go down with amongst the greatest of American presidents by simply printing this new coin, or a number of these coins, or allowing Janet Yellen to print these coins, and he could be ranked up there with the legendary greats like, they even mentioned Indiana Jones, which I have no idea how you correlate that with, but that's what the article says. So these people are a little bit off the rocker. They have no concept of what inflation is, how economics actually works. But they say, he can be one of the greatest presidents of all time if he just allows the Treasury to print these $1 trillion coins. And so it goes through all this. I will read the last paragraph of the article, though, because I think that's kind of important. It says here, the main criticism against minting the coin appears to be that it might worsen inflation. Yes, it will it will make inflation worse. It says, but the truth is no one knows because we've never tried it. And certainly defaulting on the nation's debt would have a more immediate and drastic economic consequences than minting a coin and stashing it away. But see, they won't stash it away. They're going to use it to pay down the debt. They're going to use it to pay for things that they don't have money for. And the fact that we've never tried it, people have tried it. This has been tried before. I've shown it before on my channel. It's this. This is a $100 trillion reserve bank note from Zimbabwe. A $100 trillion. When at the time it was printed, it wasn't worth very much. But this was the largest banknote ever printed by the Bank of Zimbabwe. I have a number of these things. I've sold, they've become collector's items. And so I've sold a number of them on eBay. They were selling for like several $100s. They were sold in the collector's market. But at the time they were printed in Zimbabwe, they weren't worth jack. Yes. Well, I know what we'll do. We'll just print a $100 trillion bill, and people can use that to buy things. It's been done before. And this, it'll make a difference, Zach, because these will be made out of platinum. Platinum's not worth that much. Not $100 trillion or $1 trillion. Yes, it makes inflation much, much worse. Soon after these were printed, Zimbabwe, falling into the abyss, basically got rid of all of their currency and went back to using U.S. dollars. And now I think, in fact, see, you guys out there, you were like, we can't do gold. I don't like your gold commercials at the end of your videos. You know what Zimbabwe's using now? They went back to a gold coinage. They did. They're using gold coins now as a way to fight inflation. And guess what? It's working. See, history has all kinds of valuable lessons that we can, if we just pay attention to them, We can learn things. And we can maybe, fix some of the wrongs that we have done. But we won't do that. We have to go. See, it's fun to print money and not pay and make someone else pay for it. That's why, we're so in debt with credit cards. People running their credit cards up and down, up and down, up and down, and getting into insurmountable amounts of debt because they don't want to give up their lifestyle. They don't want to make hard choices of saying, maybe I'll go without that right now because I don't have any money to pay for it. History has amazing lessons to learn if we just pay attention. No, a $1 trillion treasury coin is not going to solve this problem. It's in a few days now. I don't know what they're going to do about this. They're going to raise the debt ceiling. They're going to keep spending money. Listen, everyone's like, is there going to be a deflationary collapse or an inflationary collapse? Inflationary collapse, it's mathematical certainty because people won't stop spending money. The Congress won't stop spending money. The Federal Reserve won't stop printing money. It's a guaranteed take it to the bank. Actually, don't take anything to the bank. But inflationary collapse will happen, not a deflationary collapse. You would have to raise interest rates above 20% because that's where the real inflation rate resides right now. And Paul Volcker proved that back in the day. You have to raise interest rates over the amount of inflation to get ahead of it. And right now, interest rates are only at like 5%. And the real inflation rate, if you use normal metrics like they did back 40 years ago, is well over 20%. Well over 20%. There's no way. You've been to the store. Are prices coming down? Are you spending less for groceries? Are you spending less for things that actually matter? Even gas prices now are going back up. They went down for a little bit because we tapped into the strategic reserves. They're not going, prices aren't going down. Where is your major malfunction here? It's not going down. Inflation is going up. It's going to continue to go up unless they raise interest rates above 20%. And they're not going to do it because it will completely crash the market. And the outcry is already deafening from the White House, from Capitol Hill, from Wall Street to stop raising interest rates. When they do that, inflation will take off like a rocket ship. And again, these other countries over there are dumping U.S. treasuries. Those dollars are being repatriated. They're coming home. This is in your future. I've said before on my channel that you will see the day where you pay for a loaf of bread for $10,000. You will see that day. The only way they avoid that is if they basically reset the system and bring in the CBDCs, and then you still might see it. But that looks like what they're probably going to do. They're going to crash the system and then bring in the CBDCs, which is a central bank digital currency, and then you will get paid a UBI, Universal Basic Income, based on what you do for a living or what you did for a living if you retired, and what your standard of living is. And it's eventually a social credit scoring system. You don't say very nice things about, that guy, old Fauci over there. And so we're going to take down your UBI this month because we don't agree with what you're saying and how you're a conspiracy theorist. That's coming too at some point. Get ready for that. Here's the deal, guys. What you can do is be a producer. Be a producer. I don't like giving you bad news. I don't like giving you doom and gloom without giving you a way to understand how you can avoid some of these things. And listen, it doesn't matter if you're a homesteader or if you're living in an apartment in the middle of the city. We're all going to have to take a giant bite out of this crap sandwich that's coming down the pike. All of us. It's not going to be easy for any of us. We're going to have hard times. We're all going to suffer. But there are ways you can take right now to mitigate your suffering. You can be like, you know what? I'm going to store some food. I'm going to store some beans and rice. You can do that. Also, you can learn how to plant a garden. You can also make have some chickens where they make eggs. You know what we're getting ready to do? Tim has decided to go ahead and start raising quail again because they're a phenomenally producing bird. They produce tons of eggs, and the eggs produce tons of quail. What came first, the egg or the quail? I don't know. We're going to find out. We're going to raise quail again. And, be a producer. I make my own butter. I don't have to worry about buying butter at the store because I have a neighbor who has a fantastic milk cow, and I get milk from her, and we make our own butter from that milk. Be a producer. Produce things. This is going to be a commodity-driven world, and right now we're so addicted to the things that China and other countries have provided for us. We have no idea how to produce anything on our own, even at the home kitchen level. That's how you mitigate this crisis. It's coming. All right, guys. Hey, check out our merchandise, teespring.com. Lots of great shirts down below. Our Stupid Should Hurt shirt, our absolutely best-selling shirt of all time. If there was more hurt in this world, there'd be a lot less stupid. You can find it links in the description below. Every time you wear that shirt out in public, you will have people come up to you and ask you where you got that shirt. You can tell them, hey, I got it at an American Homestead. That's what you can tell them. All right, see you next time in the Homestead. Bye. Alexander the Great. Did you know when he died, his body was placed in a coffin made of solid gold? Decades later, Ptolemy X and Cleopatra III stole the coffin and gold artifacts just so they could pay their war debts. Germany, at the time of World War II, stole all of the gold they could get their hands on, and much of it still today has not yet been accounted for. You see, all throughout history, when times get tough, people, either good or bad, seek real wealth. They turn to gold and silver. The central banks and Wall Street cheerleaders would have you believe that gold and silver are just shiny rocks with no real value. But did you know that central banks around the world have for the last year been buying record amounts of gold and silver for stockpiling? Stockpiling for what? What do they know that they're not telling us? Genesis Gold Group is a proud supporter of an American homestead. They help people get out of locked-in 401ks and IRAs into something that's real, physical gold and silver. If you're going to be locked into something, it might be a good idea to talk to Genesis Gold Group about being locked into something physically vaulted instead of just a piece of paper that at the end of the day is just that, a piece of paper. It's a clear surety that our economy is headed for turbulent waters. The nation is currently over $31 trillion in debt, and Congress keeps spending money and the Fed keeps printing it. That does not bode well for anyone keeping and saving money in savings accounts or paper-denominated assets. Call Genesis Gold Group today, this instant, or visit them online at genesisgoldgroup.com. They can put together a strategy that's right for you. And be sure to say that you heard about them from an American Homestead.
Hey guys, did you know you can become a patron of an American Homestead? They get access to private videos, and we send them gifts from the homestead that we make here on the homestead. And we also enter our patrons into special giveaways that are only available to them. And before you go, please check out these other great videos. Go ahead, click. I'll wait.